We are doing radio buttons today in Android Studio, how to make them with the drop and drag area. We're going to get into it and create a new project. I will say as I'm creating this project, if you're in this video for a radio group, we are not doing that. This is the most simple way to create radio buttons and how to use them. We'll just name it radio buttons. Click finish. Wait for it to load. First thing we're going to do is go to the activity main.xml. After it loads really fast, like right now. And we'll zoom in. We'll get rid of this hello world. And let's go ahead and drag a radio button on there. So if you go to buttons on the side here to the left, we'll go to radio button. We'll drag that on the screen. And we'll go ahead and create the constraints for the first button. And if you're in the constraint layout, which you should be, you just drag to the very top, drag to the side. We'll just put it in there. You can create the other constraints if you'd like, but really you only need 2. And we're going to go ahead and grab another radio button, drag it to the right of it. Do the same exact thing. Kind of center it, doesn't have to look all fancy and stuff. And let's go ahead and click the right radio button. First thing we want to do is give it an ID. We just call it radio button, we'll say green. And the text, we'll go refactor. That pops up, you can just press refactor. The text we want it to display is green background. I can type here. And you can click on the one on the left, and we're going to do the same thing, except for call this one red. And we'll go red background. There we go. We'll capitalize that, make it look somewhat okay. You can center them if you'd like. And the next thing we want to do is actually you want to look to your left in your component tree, and you want to click the constraint layout and give that an ID too, because we're going to be using that with the radio buttons. And we're just going to call it layout. And that is the only thing you need to do on the XML page there. And if you want to, if you'd like, you can go through here and go through the attributes and mess with it if you want, change the colors or not. But we're going to go to the .java, and we're going to need some variables. And that is going to be a radio button. We'll call it red. We don't want to do equals. And we're going to create another radio button. Don't want that at all. Create a radio button. Call this one green. And we have a layout, which is a constraint layout. If you have a relative layout, you can do relative layout. But this one is going to be constraint. And yours most likely is probably constraint too. Call it layout. So we're going to set up the red radio button first. What we need to do first is find that radio button and give it the ID that we gave it, which is radio button red. So to do that, you've probably seen this many times. If you haven't, we're going to do red equals find view by ID. And this associates this, which is Java, with this, which is the XML. And we're going to do r.id radio button red. It should pop up for you. Boom. So just like a button has an on-click listener, a radio button has an on-click listener. So we're going to do red dot set, type in an S, and you should see it right there. Boom. And just like the radio button, we're going to do new. We're going to give it a new view, and it should pop up automatically. And you can click enter, it should auto-create it for you. Now, what do we want to do on this click? Well, on this click, we want to change the layout to a red background. So we have our layout. And if you go to the top here, we're going to do the same thing just like we did on red. We're going to say layout equals find view by ID, r.id.layout. It's not good. We don't have the layout. Let's see what we did here. Layout. Maybe I did it wrong. Let's try it again, guys. Do find view by ID, r.id.layout. Let's just do that and see what happens. So it is there. Maybe it just wasn't in the autocomplete there. So what we want to do is do layout dot set background color. And if you do a capital COLR, it has a Java has a inherited class called color, and you do red, and we can save it, and we can go ahead and run it actually. So obviously you can guess what this should do. You click red background, and hopefully gives it a red background, right? So if you, well, it's already clicked. Oh, that was my other one. Okay, so we can do red background. Boom, creates a red background. And you click green, it shouldn't do anything, and it's already clicked. We're gonna X that out, pop up Android Studio again, and let's do constraint here on the very bottom and just make it look somewhat presentable, right? All right, so focus coding challenge of the video is do the same exact thing, except we want to do it with the green button, and we want to create a green background. So pause the video, see if you can do it. The answer is this same literally exact thing. We want to create green dot, oh, nope, we do not want to do that first. We want to give the ID. So we want to find the view by ID, r.id.radio button green. Boom, we want to do green dot what? Finish the sentence format, set on click listener, new view. And we want to do the same thing, layout dot set background color, color dot green. We want to save it, run it. Will it work? It better, right? All right, we have red, we have a green, we have a red, we have a green. Now, what is wrong with this? Really, there's nothing wrong if you want simplicity, but how come it stays on clicked? We do not want the red background to be clicked when it's supposed to be green background. You see what I'm saying here? So you want to X that off. So what we need to do is, it's actually really simple. When we click the on red, when we click on the red background button, we want to set the green dot set on checked to not true, but false. What this does, if you can imagine it, set checked. When you click it, it's checked. When you don't click it, it's false and it's not checked. So obviously when it's the green one, we want to do the red dot set checked, not an on click listener. Checked, and we want to create that to false. Simple as that. Now it should work. So we want a red background and we want a green one. Look at that. Cool stuff, cool stuff. And you can mess with this, what you want to do. Instead of doing the background, you can do a maybe like a label up here and change the color of the text. Anything like that, but I advise you to mess with it so you actually understand it. But that is the simple way to do it. That does not involve any radio groups or anything like that. And you can create 20 buttons if you like. It just gets more complicated with the more buttons you create. But with the radio group, that's the next video and you can talk about that. If you have any questions or anything about the video, let me know and post them in the comment. Thanks, guys.